Welcome to me stealing John Oliver's intro. It's Velvet Al watches movies so you don't have to. Once again, watching a movie so you don't have to. Still in the holiday festive spirit, so we are going to watch Home Sweet Home Alone, which is probably the quickest turnaround for my podcast so far between a movie being released and me watching it and recording it, because I'm not going to go watch new movies. I mean, really, I'm not going to watch a movie in the theater and do this podcast because people would get mad at me for talking throughout the movie. And I just haven't kept up on current movies, but I know this came out, and around Christmas time, I'm doing some Christmas time podcast episodes. So, yeah, why not? Home Sweet Home Alone, the latest in the never-ending Home Alone franchise. I've only seen the first two, so those are the ones with Macaulay Culkin. And really, how are you going to replace Macaulay Culkin? And plus, by the time like 3 and 4 came out, I was too old for the Home Alone franchise. So I'm sorry, those films fucking suck. Yeah, I liked it when I was a kid because, it's wish fantasy fulfillment. Like, oh, if robbers ever broke into my house, I could beat them up. And plus, I get the house all to myself, and I'm not gonna go look at porn. Why did he not go find Dad's porn stash? Oh, because he's 8 years old? Huh. I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit. Although I would believe that Dad in that film doesn't have a porn stash. Because, yeah, he seems kind of lame. But also he's married to Catherine O'Hara. And, well, yeah, like, if he's smashing that every night, which he must, because the family's got like 15 children. But I don't know how by part 2, Child Protective Services just didn't like take the kids away. Or at the very least take Kevin away. Like, seriously, they lost him twice. But I guess it was the early 90s. So they didn't take things as seriously now. So this way I am curious for this film. Like, how are they going to pull off the whole, he's left home alone without Child Protective Services being called? That is, I am seriously, like, excited to see, like, what sort of excuses they do. Or maybe they, pull the trigger and do have Child Protective Services called, which would be a fan-fucking-tastic film. Somehow I doubt that's going to happen. So, enough dilly-dallying, let me press start. Okay, this movie's earned a half a brownie point for me from the start, because Kenan Thompson is in this. I don't know how big of a role he has. It seems like this is probably going to be a small role, but it's Kenan Thompson. Come on, I love the guy. I even watched like 2 episodes of that horrible sitcom he just had. Did it go past 2 episodes? I don't know. I don't think it lasted very long. But I watched it because it was him and Don Johnson. And how can you fuck that up? Several ways, apparently. But he's a realtor because I don't know if they're the McAllisters. We're going to call them the McAllisters because that was the family in the original. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care. So I guess they're selling the house. So they kind of have I don't know if it's an open house or they're having kind of like a Christmas party and prospective buyers just came up. The prospective buyers is Esther Peretti. I don't know. Actually, no, I'm thinking Chelsea Peretti. Esther something. Look her up. There's not that many comedians called Esther who are young. She was in Alone Together. She's funny. I think she's fucking hilarious. So, another half point. So, 1 full point for casting so far. So, she's buying it along with a guy who kind of looks like a younger Mario Van Peebles. I hope it's not Mario Van Peebles, because that is quite the age difference. But I don't think it's Mario Van Peebles. I think he just looks like it. Looks like a younger version of him. But Mario Van Peebles does still look pretty young, so I don't know. We'll find out. But Dad McAllister, he's just almost screwing up the purchase by saying like, oh, you knocked down the wrong wall, this house is going to fall down, and yeah, we have a good school system. They just installed metal detectors. And, Mom McAllister and Kenan Thompson are like, cool it, we're trying to sell the house. So they have, this is like fucking like suburbia. Does suburbia really put metal detectors in their schools? I mean, I guess this is a recent thing, because inner city, like urban schools in like South LA and stuff like that, they've had metal detectors since like the 90s. But now that, white kids shoot up schools too, I guess the suburbs have to get metal detectors as well. But I think Esther and young Mario Van Peebles, I think they're still interested in the house. Now there's this British lady. She's driving around town with her little, I guess he's probably 10. We'll go with 10. He's fucking British and pudgy and wears glasses, so I fucking hate him already. And then he starts talking and he's annoying. So my hatred of him is justified. But anyways, he drank too much soda or whatever, and he has to go pee. And there's nowhere around for him to go pee, and he can't wait to get home because it's far, far away or something. And plus, there's 9 other people at home, so he might not even get a chance to go to the bathroom right away. But luckily, they passed by this open house. So I guess it is an open house. And they decided like, oh, well, if we pretend we're going to maybe buy this house, you can pee in the bathroom. Which is a good plan. In fact, whenever I pass by an open house, I do go pretend that I'm interested in buying the house and then go poop in all the toilets. And then leave quickly without spraying. Because I'm a fucking dick like that. And I'm guessing this kid didn't just pee. I think he took a shit. I'm just saying, he seems like the kind of kid that's going to just take a shit in some stranger's house and give no consideration and not spray. Then he runs into Papa McAllister and he starts being like annoying, like, oh, you look like Frankenstein. But then Papa McAllister himself is annoying. He's like, well, actually, you're thinking of Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein was the doctor. And like, blah, blah. Yeah, we get it. You're so hip and smart and intelligent, and you're doing the same thing everyone's been doing for like the past decade of pointing out that there's a difference between Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster. No one gives a fuck. You say Frankenstein, everyone knows what you're fucking talking about. Because no one ever talks about Dr. Frankenstein. And also, Dr. Frankenstein was the true monster in that book. He tried to play God. He was a fucking monster. The monster, he was just misunderstood. But British mom comes and she's like, we got to go. And he's like, cheerio. Or whatever British people say. They're like, no, but at the bathroom, there's 9 other people. I don't want to go. And she's like, well, maybe we'll just go to Tokyo without you. So I'm guessing the British people are the McAllisters in this film then. And this annoying kid is going to be the one left home alone. Which, dear God, at least Macaulay Culkin had charisma. And you could kind of get behind him. And even though the movie was stupid, at least Macaulay Culkin was good. He wasn't, like, annoying. This kid is fucking annoying me. And so I'm going to have to... I want the burglars to break in and kill him. Can I get that film? Can I get a version of Home Alone where the burglars are like, fuck you, kid, and shoot him? Papa McAllister has some, like, really super rare, valuable dolls, I guess. At least according to the British mom. Because he didn't know, but the British mom's like, oh, these are super valuable. And annoying little British kid, he starts staring at them. And I think he's going to steal one. We don't know for sure, but I think he stole one. At least one. Maybe he stole the whole fucking box. I don't know. He fit them all under his stomach. So the open house is over, and holy shit, the mom is Kimmy Schmidt. I didn't realize that. But she's as stupid as Kimmy Schmidt. Which at least Kimmy Schmidt had a reason for being stupid. You know, she lived like the majority of her life underground and didn't know anything. Mama McAllister, I don't know why she's stupid. Because apparently, like, they're not sure if anyone's going to buy. But she thought, Well, there was that one guy who kept checking my underwear drawer. Maybe he was interested. Seriously, lady? And this is why you don't have an open house while you still have, like, your underwear in the house. Because there's going to be a pervert. In fact, that's what I do. I go to open houses, I peek through the underwear drawers, and then I take a shit in the toilet. Who's going to stop me? You, loyal listener? I think not. In fact, you're probably going to join me. You know, I take the upstairs toilet, you take the downstairs toilet. Let's do this. But apparently the kids are coming home now, and oops, apparently Mama and Papa did not tell the kids that they're selling the house. Oh boy. What fucking dick parents. Like, that's almost as bad as just losing your children at home. Oh yeah, by the way, we sold the house, pack up and leave. I mean, what was your plan? Like, you're not going to tell them until the house actually sells? Was it like a safety case? Like, well, if it doesn't sell, then we don't have to tell them anything and everything goes on as normal. Of course, they still don't want to tell the kids, so they're pretending that Anthony... I kept thinking Anthony Anderson, and I keep telling myself it's not. It's fucking Kenan Thompson. Why do I have Anthony Anderson on my mind? But Kenan Thompson, he's pretending that he's a personal trainer and not a realtor. And he makes some jokes, and Kenan is a national treasure. He's given really fucking shitty material here, and he makes it work, because he is fucking awesome. I love you, Kenan. Please, someone who has talent, hire him to do something good. So, where's my mind going? Oh yeah, because I wanted to point out again that, you know, I keep calling this family the McAllisters, but they're not called the McAllisters, and it doesn't seem like they're putting the place of the McAllisters of the original. But I'm in too deep now, so they're going to continue to be called the McAllisters. So I gotta think up of a name for the family that is being the McAllisters. I'll just call them the Annoyings. Yeah, the Annoying family. I think that works. And let me tell you, the Annoying family sure is fucking annoying. At their house, you know, everyone's just kind of running around because they're all cousins. They're not brothers and sisters. Maybe some of them are brothers and sisters. But they're all annoying, and they're all running around, and half of them are like under 10, so they're yelling at each other. And some are American, some are British, so I guess it's a mixed family. And so there's a big snowstorm that's delaying the flight to Japan. Because this is a rich family that's going to Japan for Christmas vacation. Fuck them. You know, that's the thing, like, with the original. How am I supposed to feel sympathetic to this family when they're fucking rich and negligent? So, I don't care. I will, again, root against the Annoying family. Because fuck them. So, but apparently their flight got split into two. Because they had to rebook it, but they couldn't rebook everyone on the same flight. So, that's important, because I bet that they're going to be stupid, and both parents are going to stay on the same flight and not keep track of who's on the other flight. Again, how do you just... I understand there's a lot of fucking kids running around, but how do you lose count and track of the children? Just tell me that. Like, how do you not do, like, a proper, like, roll call? Like, here, let's make sure everyone's here. No, that's not going to happen. Because fat little British kid, he's like, I wish I was the only one in this family. And remember, that's what happened in the original. Macaulay Culkin, he made the wish. And it came true. His family disappeared. And I think that's going to happen to a fat British kid who's hiding out in the BMW. Fucking BMW! This family has a BMW. You know, maybe it's irrational, but I just automatically hate rich families in movies. And I always root against them. So fuck this family. They are super fucking annoying because they have a BMW and can afford to fly to Japan. You know, just. And he's watching old Looney Tunes cartoons on the BMW TV. Really? I must be really fucking out of it and behind the times and just unable to get to rich people's car. Like, the TV's built into the fucking car? And he can get, I guess, Boomerang, because who else, like, shows Looney Tunes cartoons? The originals? Would he even watch them? Fuck this. I don't believe this kid. I don't believe this kid for one moment. You know, he's trying to gather sympathy from me by watching some good cartoons. I don't believe it. I'm not falling for it. You're still annoying little British fuck. Apparently, Papa McAllister lied about the metal detectors at the school, which, okay, makes sense, because really, metal detectors at suburban schools just did not make sense to me. But apparently, deep in his heart, he doesn't want the house to sell. He loves the house. But unfortunately, he lost his job, and they can't afford the house on just Kimmy Schmidt's salary. And so now I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for the McAllisters that aren't really McAllisters. Because that I can sympathize with. They are struggling to make ends meet. And just, they want to keep their home. But can they keep their home? Now I understand why they didn't want to tell the kids. You know, they don't want the kids to view them as failures. Even though at some point they're going to have to tell the kids, hey, the house is sold, we're moving. Or maybe they don't have to. They could just leave the kids there. And the new owners of the house, they get free kids along with the house. It's not the worst idea I've heard. It's the middle of the night, and Papa McAllister is dreaming about Queen Latifah, as we all do. Take note, hack screenwriters of Hollywood. This is how you make a character relatable. And granted, I'm pretty sure it's hack screenwriters who wrote this movie as well, but at least they learned how to make characters relatable, or at least one character relatable, in that he's unemployed, he's struggling, and he dreams about Queen Latifah. This is my life. This is my life. I see myself completely in this character. But he's woken up because his brother has arrived early because he was supposed to come the next day for Christmas, but they want to avoid the big snowstorm. Him and his Asian wife and children. Well, I think there might only be one child. And I only point out that she's an Asian wife just so I can easily keep track of her. Because I'm going to guess that's probably her one distinguishing characteristic is that she's Asian. And she's wearing a hooker miniskirt in the dead of winter. I don't know what you're trying to say there, Home Sweet Home Alone. What? Because she's Asian, she's got to look like a hooker? Or is that just me saying she's an Asian and she's wearing a miniskirt? Therefore, she's a hooker. So I'm the racist one. Okay? I am the racist one. I'm sure the Home Sweet Home Alone filmmakers, they're racist too. But they don't want to own up to it. I will own up to my racism. And Brother McAllister has brought like just tons and tons of fucking presents because I guess he's just had a really good year. You know, probably Papa McAllister probably does not have a lot of presents to give because his year has been rough. And so Papa McAllister can't sleep, so he's looking on LinkedIn or whatever job site, and no one's looked at his resume. He's just getting no callbacks. Life is rough. So he decides he's going to check eBay just for the hell of it to see, well, you know, supposedly these dolls I have are super fucking valuable. Let me see. And oh my god, they are fucking valuable. They're, especially one of them that he has sells for like $250,000. Like, oh boy, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, whichever, happy holidays, happy everything. Because if he can sell that doll, it's going to be all around. Okay, he's probably not going to get the money in time for the holidays. So, but he could get belated presents for Hanukkah, Christmas, and Kwanzaa, and Monkey Day. And at the very least, he's going to be able to save the house with that money. So he goes looking for the doll, and it's not there. It's that fucking British fuck stole it. I don't get it. Am I supposed to root for this kid? I mean, is the kid the bad guy? The kid is clearly the bad guy here. So, but luckily, Dad remembers that they both, the British fucking kid and the British mom, both said each other's full names out loud. And Papa McAllister remembers those names. He's going to find where that kid is, and he's going to get his doll back, and he's going to sell it for $250,000, and everyone's going to be happy. Except for the British kid, but who gives a fuck about him? So Papa McAllister shows up at the annoying family's house, because I guess he got the address off the internet. Isn't that illegal? Aren't there stalking laws? Are you, like, really able to find someone's address off of their name? I mean, perhaps you can. Or maybe you looked in the phone book. Phone books are still a thing, and they still put people's address. So maybe he looked in the phone book. It's the suburbs. Do the suburbs have phone books? I would think that phone books weren't a thing, but literally today, as I'm recording this, a phone book was dropped off on my porch. So phone books are still a thing. Crazy, isn't it? So he goes there, and everyone's rushing, because, of course, everyone's rushing. It's what happens. You got a huge fucking family, and apparently half the family went off on the early flight to Tokyo, at which case they apparently did not do any sort of check of who was where, because no one knows that little British fat fuck kid is still asleep in the BMW. And no one thinks, hey, where is he? He wasn't marked down for being on the early flight. No, they're like, whatever. And Chris Parnell thinks that Papa McAllister is the Uber driver, which Chris Parnell's in this. So, again, another half point for casting. And honestly, I would give a full point, except for the fact that I am 100% sure they are going to misuse Chris Parnell, who is fucking hilarious and gets misused in everything, except for Word Girl. Because Word Girl was awesome. And Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty uses him well. Rick and Morty and Word Girl use Chris Parnell well. I do not think Home Sweet Home Alone is going to use him well. So that's why they only get half a point for his casting. And, if I were Papa McAllister, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm the Uber. I'm fucking stealing your sleep apnea machine. Which is what Chris Parnell gave him, the sleep apnea machine. Be like, yeah, I'm going to take all your luggage. Fuck you guys. Because you stole my doll that's worth $250,000. So this sleep apnea machine will not cut it. And God! People are fucking stupid. I mean, people in real life are stupid, but they are not this stupid. So, who I thought was Papa Annoying, but I'm guessing isn't. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Because we have not gotten what sort of relationship anyone in this fucking annoying family is to each other, but he doesn't know the code for the alarm system. And he yells out loud, who has the code? And someone yells out the code, which luckily Papa McAllister is right there to hear the code, and it's super fucking easy, 1112. The only two other codes that would be easy are 1111 and 1234. 1112. So Papa McAllister knows the code. He can disarm the alarm system. Oh boy. Merry Christmas indeed. But here's the really fucking stupid part. Everyone assumed that Papa McAllister was the Uber driver, and they all drive off. So what the fuck? Without the Uber, they thought. Wait, what was? They thought an Uber driver came to just say hi, and they drove off without the Uber driver. Just the oop. Oh, my head hurts. It hurts from trying to figure that out. You go, Papa McAllister. You fucking robbed them blind. Papa McAllister looks in through the window because everyone's left. Or so he thinks. He doesn't know that the annoying little British kid's still there, asleep in the BMW. And he sees the doll because it's right out there in the open, conveniently. So he's gonna break in because he found the spare key that's like right under the doormat. Do people really do that? It just seems like it would be super obvious that if you wanted to like break in, first place you would check is under the doormat for keys. So I would think that's too obvious for people to keep doing, but apparently they do. But he chickens out before he can break in, but I'm sure he'll be back. Now, I'm not really sure what direction this film is gonna be going in, because yeah, he's gonna break into the house, but he's breaking in to get something that they fucking stole from him. And he tried to get it back the proper way, and they just fucking wouldn't even listen to what he had to say. And yeah, probably the proper thing would be to keep coming back like every day until they're finally home, or leave a note for them to call him. But it's Christmas. He needs that fucking $250,000. He cannot wait for them to come back from Tokyo. I'm assuming Tokyo. They're going to Japan, and Tokyo's the only place in Japan they ever visit in movies. Maybe Hiroshima. That'd be kind of a fucked up, like, hey kids, for Christmas, we're gonna go visit the National Hiroshima Bomb Site. I've heard worse ideas. But no, seriously, like, am I supposed to root against the guy who's just trying to get his property back? That, by the way, he's fucking gonna lose his house if he doesn't get this property back and sells it to make money because he lost his job and he cannot find a new job in this horrid job market? Am I supposed to root against that fucking guy? No, I'm rooting for him. So I want him to break in, get his doll back, punch the kid. You can shoot him if you want. Not necessary to shoot him, but I'm not going to be mad at you if you do. Right now, my cat is battling me for my bagel, which is probably infinitely more interesting than this film. So, Papa McAllister is rushing to the senior center because him and Kimmy Schmidt are part of a singing group that they're going to sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for all the senior citizens living there. And, I don't know, maybe other songs. They only performs Rudolph because maybe the director's like, well, you get the idea. And the conductor is Dean from Community. So, again, with the casting choices, like, I'm glad that a lot of my favorite comedians are getting an easy paycheck here. So, that's a point in the favor of the film. Of course, they're completely wasting these guys, but easy paycheck for them for Christmas shopping or Hanukkah shopping, any holiday shopping, you know. But so, while trying to sing, Papa McAllister is like whispering to Kimmy Schmidt about how, you know, little fat British fuck stole their doll. And he's trying to get it back. So she's like, well, you know, breaking and entering is not the smart idea. So I'll go over there and we'll talk and we'll get the whole thing straightened out and we'll get the doll back. Of course, she doesn't know that no one's home except for the annoying little British fuck. So, it's not going to be as easy as that, is it, Kimmy Schmidt? The annoying little British kid finally wakes up, and he realizes that no one's home. He has the whole house to himself. So he does what any other kid does, and just has all sorts of fun, like eating whipped cream straight from the can, and building Lego sets and dressing in his mother's clothes. Like, seriously, he does that. I don't know if that's supposed to be funny, because, oh, ha ha ha, boy dressed like woman. Ha ha ha. It's not funny. But I will give the film credit here, because unlike Kevin McAllister in the original film, Little British fat fuck does go looking for porn. He gets on the internet. Granted, we don't know he's actually looking for porn, but why else would someone go on the internet if not to look at porn? I mean, that's the whole reason the internet was built. Unfortunately, his internet access is blocked, because his parents were smart and knew if he was ever left alone, he was going to go look for porn. Papa McAllister and Kimmy Schmidt, they have a conversation of whether, it's right to steal something that was stolen from you. And while it might be morally right, at least I think so, and so does Papa McAllister, Kimmy Schmidt points out that, it's still illegal, and, that's how OJ went to jail. He was trying to steal back his property. I think there might have been something more to that, though. Wasn't it that it wasn't really technically still not his property? And it wasn't really stolen. Was it stolen from him? I don't know. OJ did it. OJ murdered his wife. That's all we need to know. And he managed to not go to jail for that. But he got jail time for being a thief. At home, Brother McAllister, he's watching a movie. And it's like a space-age sci-fi remake of the gangster movie that Kevin watched in the original Home Alone. And Brother McAllister says, I don't know why they bother remaking the classics. It's never as good as the original. Ha 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 ha! Get it? Now, normally I would think this kind of joke is really super lame, but I will give them points for that extra level of meta-ness by having a remake of the movie in a movie as well. That is actually kind of clever. I like that. So film, okay, you get away with that joke. You get away with that joke for that extra level. It's kind of clever. Okay, I have to admit, just now the film did make me laugh out loud. I'm ashamed of myself for it. I am. So, Kimmy Schmidt almost drops the gingerbread house that she's making. And Brother McAllister's like, whoa, careful there. You almost lost your house. Which has Kimmy Schmidt start thinking like, oh my God, it's real. We are going to lose our house. And she's like just envisioning everything. And she envisions everyone telling her to go get the doll to save the house. And she envisions the doll saying, come get me. And she's like accidentally saying out loud, I will get you, you ugly boy. Which her son thought was him. I laughed. It's not a good joke, but I laughed. So it's decided they will break into the house and get that doll back. Even though now Papa McAllister kind of wants to chicken out, but Kimmy Schmidt's not going to let him. Because they need to get that back. They need that doll to save their house. So they break into the house. Or really just enter, because they do have the key. And he enters in the code for the alarm system. But he puts in 2221. So we remember it was 1112. Oh boy. So the system just starts and activates itself again. Which, I'm calling bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I used to work for an alarm company. That's not how alarm systems work. You enter in the wrong code, it continues to blare. It doesn't trick you into thinking, oh, everything's okay, and then arms itself again. It keeps blaring, sends a notice to the alarm company like, hey, something's going on here, and the alarm company is supposed to call. And maybe they don't have the monitoring service, and they just have the system itself. The system's not supposed to turn off. It's going to keep blaring until you enter in the right code, or you enter in the fake help code, which makes it seem like it disarmed, but it sends a message to the police like, hey, I'm fucking in trouble here, get your asses over here. But no, the alarm system just rearmed, and they're walking around, and they can't find the doll yet, but the annoying little British fuck, he's standing at the top of the stairways over listening to them. And Kimmy Schmidt is talking about how they need to get that ugly little boy and sell him to some terrible grandma who's just gonna keep him locked up in a room. But British fuck doesn't realize they're talking about the doll. They think they're talking about him. And I laughed again. Because it's funny, because it's true, because he is an ugly boy. So I laughed because he thought like, oh, ugly boy, they must be talking about me. And it's like, yeah, you are ugly. So the annoying British kid tells the knockoff Alexa to call the police. And yeah, I mean, if they're super rich, they should have like a real Alexa. But keep in mind, this is a Disney Plus original, so they're not going to promote any Amazon products here. And the knockoff Alexa, which for some reason is set to German, they talked about that earlier in the film. I didn't think it was important to mention it, but yeah, it was set to German because someone was fucking around with it. So it's yelling in German to call the police, and that scares off Papa McAllister and Kimmy Schmidt, so they go running out. And since it is... Okay, talking about police, I think there might be police outside of my window. Hold on. So the McGood guys are ready to enact their plan now that it's after midnight. And Papa McGood guy is dressed as Santa. And him and Kimmy Schmidt are headed over there. But the roads are all icy because of all the water that the kids spread. Okay, now I get like with the driveway, kind of a dick move to do it to the entire road, kid. Dick move. You've got neighbors that probably don't like you anyways, and they're going to like you even less. And so then there's a lot of like slipping and falling as the McGood guys are having trouble, and the kid, he's just staring at them and turning the lights on and off. And I don't know, should I go through every single like annoying trap that this annoying fucking kid does? I don't know, because there's still like 40 minutes left in this film, and I don't know if I want to write down every single one, because probably at least 30 minutes of this is going to be like these annoying little traps. So I'll just point out like any interesting ones I see. And if there happens to actually be a funny one, I'll point that out. Not holding out too much hope on that. Over in Tokyo, because of course, like I said, it had to have been Tokyo, because they're going to Japan. So in movies, if someone goes to Japan, they're going to Tokyo. So British mom is freaking out, yelling at, I guess, her husband? I don't know. Like, again, couldn't they have taken like 5 seconds to like really delineate who's who in this family? But I'm guessing it's the husband, and she's yelling at him for not realizing that low British fuck was not on the plane and just assuming that he was on the other plane. Which, she's intelligent. She is smart. Did you ever notice that, like, in the first Home Alone, like, the mom never really, like, got upset, like, what the fuck did you guys miscount? How did you do it? And I've always wondered how they even realized Kevin wasn't there. Because remember, she just, out of nowhere, on the plane, like, oh, what's wrong? Kevin! He's not here! It was like, just out of nowhere, like, it just hit her. That always bugged me. Like, how did she realize it? Like, I could understand if they did, like, another head count when the plane landed. No, just on the plane, she realized, like, oh, I have not seen Kevin. So, at least, you know, with this split plane thing, like, it's a little more understandable that, oh, they just each thought the kid was on the other flight. They're both still... No, even the dad. Because the mom, since they left on the early flight, just assumed that her husband was going to know and be able to take the little British fuck on the plane. That's what you get for just trusting this guy to be, like, responsible. And unfortunately, there's no landline at the home because, you know, it's 2021 and no one has a landline. So, I don't know. Can you do alarm systems without landlines? Because it's been a while since I've worked for the alarm company, but back then, you needed a landline in order to be able to get the signals out to the police. But they don't have a landline. They don't know the neighbors because they're fucking assholes and didn't bother to like introduce themselves to the neighbors. So they can't call the neighbors. And I don't know, I guess they decided not to give the little British fucking kid a cell phone. It's 2021. You give your kids cell phones so in the case of emergencies like this. It's just real simple. You are negligent parents. The family does manage to call the police, and the police put out the APB that there's a child left home alone. But it's intercepted by Officer McAllister, which, do I now gotta call the other family something else? Because now it's just gonna get confusing if I keep calling them McAllisters, because they're not McAllisters, and we've got an actual McAllister, and he is Kevin's younger brother, apparently. And every year, Kevin just calls him with a prank phone call saying, hey, there's a child left home alone, because remember, you did that to me twice! Because, seriously, twice! Though technically the second time he wasn't left home alone, he was just kind of abandoned at the airport and left to be in Donald Trump's hotel. So, yeah, crazy time in the early 90s. And, you know, the address is the house that Officer McAllister was just at, and he didn't see any kid home alone. In fact, he saw a couple. They were parents, or they weren't parents, they just were the homeowners, I guess. You know, he didn't, like, grill them very hard, but, you know, he's just going to make the assumption, very safe assumption to make, that they are the homeowners. So if there is a kid in the house, he's not home alone, because there's two adults. And he says, yeah, I'll check on it. And he's not going to check on it. Now it's Christmas Eve during the day, so Christmas Eve day. I don't know, it's always weird. It's always been weird to me that we refer to the entire day as Christmas Eve, when technically only the evening portion should be Christmas Eve. During the daytime, it's, I don't know, Christmas Eve day, I will go with. Let's start that tradition. I am now going to start referring to December 24th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. as Christmas Eve day, because it's the daytime. So, but they're at church, because that's what people do on Christmas Eve day. The McAllisters, I need a new name for them, because there's real McAllisters. So the McGoodingtons, because to me, they're the good guys. They are the good guys in this story. I don't care that they're going to break into the house and kill the kid. Actually, chances are they're not going to kill the kid, but they're going to break into the house as they rightfully should. So they're the McGood guys, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why I've added the Mick. I think at some point they said their name and it did involve a Mick in it. So, yeah, the McGood guys. I like it. So they're at church and Kenan Thompson shows up and it's like, hey, we got an offer on the house. Awesome. So, but the only problem is it's got to be signed before the new year, because these crazy kids, they want it right away. Like, oh no, now the pressure is on. They have got to get that fucking doll. Of course, again, I don't know if they can sell the doll in time to save the house. What if the doll doesn't even sell? That's the tricky part with eBay. You think, oh, it's gonna just sell because other ones have sold for much more money. And it doesn't always happen that way. You're taking a risk. And, you know, it could be a while before it sells. And by that point, you've lost the house. So it's a risk, but they gotta take the risk. That's what life is about. You take risk, you gotta take the gamble, you gotta gamble it all, and I think things are gonna go well for these crazy kids. Meanwhile, over in like the donation part of the church, where they're collecting toys for kids that are needy, fucking British fuck shows up. And he's like, toys for needy. I'm needy. I'm gonna start taking toys. It's like, oh! Like, I couldn't hate you anymore. yet you find a way to make me hate you more. God, what the fuck? What the fuck, movie? Is this kid supposed to be, like, the good guy in the film or not? Because you are making it completely fucking difficult for me to like this kid at all. And he happens, the Mick Good Guy's kid stops by to drop off a toy, and they're talking, he's like, things are tough, and British fuck's like, oh, yeah, my parents are gone, off to Tokyo, my family's gone, I'm home alone. And a Mick Good kid, he's like, that would be awesome. And British fuck's like, you'd think so, but not so much. Because kids today are soft. He's been home alone by himself, like, less than a day, and he's already, like, cracked and wants, like, his family back. In the original, Kevin, like, I think got, like, a good week before he just kind of was like, yeah, this isn't so good. Like, he was just kind of every day like, okay, well, the basement's scary, but I can conquer that. The old guy with the shovel, he's scary, but I can conquer that. And he's just like, I'm badass, and I'm going to take care of myself. I can do it on my own. This kid, not even a day, and he's just like crying for his mommy, and like, I need help. Buck up, kid. Buck up. The Mick Good guys see that the British fuck is there, and they realize, well, if he's at the church, that means the home is home alone. Okay, they don't say it, but it would have been fucking awesome if they had a line like, the home is home alone. Note to self, I am working that line into my film. I don't know what my film's going to be, just that it's going to have the line, the home is home alone. So they rush out there, even though it means that they're going to miss their daughter singing in the recital. But, I think she'll understand when she learns that they were going to lose the house if they didn't leave and get the fucking doll back. She'll forgive you. And then there's a scene with the British mom at the airport, and it's so stupid I'm not even going to recount it, because I've already forgotten what happened. A lot of wacky hijinks where Papa McGoodguy and Kimmy Schmidt get hurt a lot trying to break into the house, and it's not even the right house. But somehow all this noise, the people that live in that house don't even hear what's going on. And they're the token black family of the neighborhood. Like, yeah, I think outside of Kenan Thompson, I haven't seen a black person in this neighborhood. And Kenan probably doesn't actually live in the neighborhood, he's just a realtor. But, can rest assured, there is a black family in the neighborhood. But the McGood guys, they're determined. They're not going to give up after all of this. Because, they can't afford to. It's all on the line. It's one chance. It's all they've got. They come up with a plan that I'm not fully sure, but it's going to involve Papa McGoodguy dressing as Santa Claus. And I guess sneaking in, pretending to be Santa Claus, and taking that doll. It's a good plan, I think. I don't know. All their other plans have kind of failed so far, so it's worth a try. But unfortunately, the little British fuck overhears them talking about the plan, and he knows, oh no, they're gonna come after me. Because remember, he still thinks that every time they talk about the ugly little boy, he thinks they're talking about him. Because he is an ugly little boy. But no, they want the doll. So he decides, he's gonna fight back against the bad guys, who are really the good guys, in my opinion. And so he asks Alexa, search for booby traps. But wouldn't you know it, parental controls, he can't search for anything involving booby. Poor kid, he will never get to see a booby. Scene with British mom on the plane, and honestly, I'm just tuning her completely out, because her scenes are just horrible. Even within the context of this movie, like, it's just, why? Like, they just completely could not write her at all. So now we got a montage of little fat fuck British kid setting up all these traps. The classics like pouring water all over the driveway so that it freezes and it's icy, and throwing Legos all over the floor because them shits hurt when you step on them, and sawing parts of the banister on the staircase off, just enough to loosen them so you don't realize it, but then when you go to grab it, oh, it's gonna fall. Which I think that one, Mom might get a little pissed off about. You know, which is the thing, like, did we ever learn in, like, Home Alone 2, like, what the family's reaction was to all the shit Kevin did to the house? Like, did we learn, like, afterwards, after, like, they got over and, like, oh, we're so glad that you're safe and all that, and what the fuck did you do to this house? It's complete shambles. Do you realize how much it's gonna cost to repair all this? You fucking kid. That's why they left them again. The second time, they're like, you know what? We don't even give a fuck about you anymore. Do you realize how much it cost us to repair the house after last time? Then again, maybe that should have been a clue to them to do even keep a better eye on him so that this shit doesn't happen again. But while he's making the traps, the McGood guys are unfortunately subjected to the Asian wife's singing. Oh boy, that's torture. That's probably more torture than the pain they're going to endure through all these traps. So the McGood guys are ready to enact their plan now that it's after midnight, and Papa McGood guy is dressed as Santa, and him and Kimmy Schmidt are headed over there. But the roads are all icy because of all the water that the kids spread. Okay, now I get, like, with the driveway, kind of a dick move to do it to the entire road, kid. Dick move. You've got neighbors that probably don't like you anyways, and they're going to like you even less. And so then there's a lot of, like, slipping and falling as the McGood guys are having trouble, and the kid, he's just staring at them and turning the lights on and off, and I don't know, should I go through every single, like, annoying trap that this annoying fucking kid does? I don't know, 'cause there's still, like, 40 minutes left in this film, and I don't know if I want to write down every single one, because probably at least 30 minutes of this is going to be, like, these annoying little traps. So I'll just point out, like, any interesting ones I see. And if there happens to actually be a funny one, I'll point that out. Not holding out too much hope on that. Oh, the old milk and cookie gag. The little British kid left out a plate of milk and cookies for Santa, and Mr. McDumbass just thinks like, oh, well, he's an idiot kid. Let me have some cookies. But no. The cookies were doused in hot sauce, and the milk was doused in hot sauce, and it's just way too hot for him, and then he falls into snow, and... I feel like maybe I should go trap by trap, because that's probably the only reason you want to watch this film anyhow, and I'm trying to save you from having watched the film. And trust me, these traps are just dumb and annoying. Put some Mentos in just a massive amount of 2-liter bottles of soda and tosses them at Kimmy Schmidt, and then she falls down the stairs, and McDumbass comes in still dressed as Santa. This time he remembers the code, 1112. Unfortunately, little British kid put a little razor on the 2, and ouch, I cut my finger, and then the kid's got, like, this gun that shoots billiard balls, and bam, right between the eyes. Santa's down for the count. You know, I was rooting for the McGood guys, but Mr. McDumbass, now he's making it tough for me. The kid put on a pair of virtual reality goggles, and he wakes up and thinks that he magically is on a cliff. Seriously. And decides he has to try to jump across the ravine or something, and he ends up banging into the wall. Just my head hurts. People are not this fucking stupid. Seriously, they're just. How do you not know you have virtual reality goggles and you think you're Christmas time in a house 1 minute and suddenly what did he think that the kid like dragged him to like a mountainside and was gonna push him off the cliff or something? I just oh no. Just, no. Kimmy Schmidt falls into Legos. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Quick random scene of British mom still on the plane, and the guy next to her is falling asleep, and just ugh. I'm so like over the British mom. And then kid has some flour and milk on ropes, like the paint cans in the original one, and knocks Mr. McDumbass in the head with them, and then slingshots a bag of sugar into his balls, because it's not funny unless someone gets hit in the balls. Nerf guns full of push pins, shot at Kimmy Schmidt, and she's just all full of push pins, and then some hijinks with a yoga ball that's just too stupid for me to try to process and explain to you guys. Just, my brain cells are dying. Merry fucking Christmas to you guys. I am destroying my mind for your amusement. I am helping save you from destroying your mind from watching this terrible film. Shenanigans with a trampoline that causes Mr. McDumbass to lose a tooth. Shenanigans with icicles. Kimmy Schmidt thought she found the doll because she found the jacket that it was supposed to be hidden in, but no, just orange soda. Which, I mean, I guess is an okay consolation prize. Finally, they cornered the kid, and he's all like, I heard your plan. You're planning on stealing me and selling me to grandma's. And they're like, oh, misunderstanding. Let's get this straight. We weren't going to kidnap you. We were just looking to get our doll back. And plot twist, annoying little British kid did not steal it. So they went through all this trouble and broke into the home, which I still don't consider them bad guys because they had good intentions. But now they're going to have to find out who took the doll. And hopefully this is the end of the British kid. Like, I seriously hope they don't team up with the British kid to find out who stole the doll. Just end it. Please, end it. I hate this kid. Now, the seriousness of it all hits the McGood guys. That this kid, he's home alone. No one there to take care of him. So they invite him to come over and stay with them until his mom can make it back home. And Kimmy Schmidt assures him that, don't worry, you're not going to be in trouble because your mom's just going to be happy to see you. And then Papa McGood guy points out, at first, then you'll probably get into a lot of trouble because a lot of shit has happened here. Which is true. Like, I still want to know, like, Kevin McAllister. What did his parents think after they, like, settled down and just saw all the damage he did? So I think British mom's gonna get pissed off. If not, then American stepdad. Which I think he's the stepdad. I don't know. I want to know the family dynamic there. We know nothing about them. We just know there's the British mom and a bunch of Americans, and I hate them all. And I hope that the British kid gets grounded for life. Back at their house, the McGood guys, just tell their story to the rest of the family and everything that's happened. And sorry, kids, we're going to have to move because we never found a doll that would get us to $250,000 to save the house. But oh no, the top of the staircase, the Asian wife's Asian son has the doll. And he's like 5 or something. That's important to know, or else you might think he's just an idiot. Maybe a little of both. And he's got the doll. And he doesn't know that it's super valuable and decides just to throw the doll. Oh no! Can they catch it in time and save it? Because if it smashes into 1,000,000 pieces, they're not going to be able to sell it for $250,000 and they're going to lose the house. And the movie made me laugh again because Kimmy Schmidt jumps and she just fucking pretty much stomps on the Asian wife. I find it funny. Don't judge me. They were playing it for laughs, so it's okay that I laughed at injuring the Asian woman. I know I shouldn't laugh, but I did, in spite of myself. But the little British fuck redeems himself because he manages to catch the doll. And the Christmas miracle. British mom shows up. They have hugs and heartwarming speeches and all that. And she's going back home with the little British kid. And there's still like 13 minutes left in this film. So I'm hoping she has a shit fit when she gets home and sees all the damage done. Please, oh please. Or I'd be just as happy if the movie ended now and it's 13 minutes of credits. In fact, I might like that more. And that little heartwarming moment also made the McGood guys realize, home, it's really where the family is. And the daughter says, does that mean we get to stay? And they look around like, yes. Which is a very fucking weird, revelation to have, if you think about it. Because they've spent the entire movie trying to find a way to save the house, and then they have the revelation, let's stay in the house. No shit, that's what you've been trying to do. The true revelation there is the fact that home isn't the house, it's family. So it doesn't matter if you have to leave this house because your family's still together, so it's still a home. How did you miss that? That was just a volley there as far as a revelation goes. But no, you just learned the exact opposite. They're still tying home to your house. British mom and the kid get home and she sees that the place is entirely trashed. And is she going to have a freak out? We don't know, because they cut to 1 year later. Which she's British, so her freak out probably would have been very prim and proper. Oh, I am going to kill you. But it's a year later and the two families are having Christmas dinner together. Because I guess they've become best friends. And apparently selling the doll not only gave enough money for them to completely pay off the house, it also left over enough to pay to repair the British family's house. Which, goddamn, how much did that, doll sell for? Well, I guess maybe $250,000. If the mortgage on the house was $100,000, that would still leave $150,000. Yeah, okay. That's possible. It's possible. It could have been done. Which was nice of the McGood guys, because, it is partially their fault. Only partially, because yes, they did break in. But the kid set up all these fucking traps that trashed the house. Don't forget. He could have just gone to the cops and say, hey, I overheard that these burglars are gonna break in and try to kidnap me. And yeah, the cops are useless because it's Kevin's little brother. I was kind of hoping that would play in some more. I thought at the end he would show up and arrest everyone and throw everyone in jail, especially the negligent British mom for leaving her kid home alone. Yes, and I'm not going to stick through the credits to see if there's any sort of after credit scenes, because fuck you, film. Fuck you. There's no after credit scene that could make it worthwhile. God damn it, there's probably an after credit scene featuring Kevin's little brother. You know what? I'm going to check real quick just to make sure there's not a Macaulay Culkin cameo. Because actually that would be worth it. Boo! No after credit scene. But it has 10 minutes of credits. That's fucking insane. That's approaching Marvel movies level of credits. Why were the credits so long on this? I don't know. Are credits normally that long? I I don't know. I mean, I used to sit through the credits when I'd go to movies because I felt that, I owed it to everyone who worked on that film for me to see their name flash for half a second. It was just common respect, common courtesy. And plus, it would piss off the people who'd work at the movie theater who were trying to clean up the movies while the credits were rolling. And this was really, like, well before, like, after credit scenes became a really big thing. So you just kind of sat there for no reason, no sort of reward. But, yeah, I don't remember credits really lasting that long. Like, they always felt like just a few minutes. Now they're 10 minutes for fucking Home Sweet Home Alone? What the hell? How does that happen? How did that many people work on this fucking film? I don't even have a way to end things. Happy holidays if you're listening to this during holiday season. If you're listening to this in the middle of June, happy Juneteenth. Happy Arbor Day. Happy whatever. Whatever's the closest holiday to when you're listening to this. velvetowl@hotmail.com, or leave a comment if you're listening to something that has a comment system. And I'll see you next time for some other horrible movie.